Hi everyone, Carolyn Russin here, professional life coach. Thanks for joining me today. Wanting to talk to you today about this whole myth that, first of all, finding the forever job, which is becoming more and more rare these days, and how careers don't always define our happiness. And if we are focusing on our careers to find our happiness, often that's where things kind of fall off the edge, because there's so many other ways, hi Angela, so many other assets or parts of our lives where we can feel happy. And I'll give you a perfect example, and I'll actually just pull this up here. Hi Janice. I have a lot of clients who come to me who talk to me about, Carolyn, I'm really not happy in my job. I want to quit my job, I want to move, do something else, and all this. And what I always suggest to them is, okay, hold on, let's just wait. Let's work on you as a person and things that need to be tweaked and whatnot, and maybe in your personal life as well. And it's amazing how it's like 9 times out of 10, when we do that, all of a sudden, they're not unhappy at the job anymore. Things kind of change. But the thing is, if things aren't great at home, you're not very happy at home, and then you go to work, and that's what you kind of look at as your escape. And if you're not getting what you want out of your escape, or if you're not feeling significant at home, and then you go to work and you're not feeling significant there, it can really reinforce not being happy. I just recently had a client of mine who wrote just a short review here. It's posted in the group. And she said, she talks about how, how I really taught her that your personal life really does affect your work life. So as she was talking about adding some more, excitement to her personal life, having something to look forward to, then the things that you stress about, hi Beverly, no longer affects us. And so she was talking about, finding that work-life balance. But when she suddenly started having joy and happiness outside of work, she wasn't 100% dependent on feeling it at work. And work changed for her. I remember at the end, when we finished working together, I said to her, okay, so talk to me about, how do you feel about your job? She kind of looked at me confused, and she's like, oh, it's fine. And yet, in the beginning, she wasn't happy with it. So I want to talk to you a little bit, hi Christine, about that, and kind of, break it down a little bit more, and about how, happiness is multifaceted. Like, there's so many other areas in your life where you can feel happy. And if we are only relying on our job to find our happiness or our career, and things are kind of a little shaky, then we feel that, and it just rocks our world. So realizing, okay, well, what about other areas of my life? What about my relationship? What about my kids, if we have kids? What about family, friends, other things? Maybe you volunteer. Other things that you contribute outside of work. And really kind of fostering those and developing those a bit more. And if those are kind of shaky, that's where I'd start your work first. That's where I'd start focusing first, because that's going to be more impactful and more within your control to change. And realizing that as we grow in age, our aspirations change. Like, look at me. I was a teacher. I was a vice principal. A few decades ago, things were different. And that was okay then, but things changed for me. And so I learned to kind of move and pivot and look outside the box. Wasn't easy in the beginning. I will be the first to admit that. But we all have changing aspirations, and recognizing that instead of just shoving it down, because that's how you can get more frustrated and unhappy. Not always focusing on success, because really in everyone's job, what is success? It'll be different for everyone. And just like I'll say to my clients, like, what needs to happen for you to feel happy? And often people don't know that. So then how can you feel happy if you don't know what has to happen to feel happy? Hi Phyllis. It's the same thing with success. So in your job, in your career, what has to happen for you to feel successful? Do you know? And often these things, if you even know, are so spread out that it's hard to continuously feel successful if you are only focusing on those random things, whether it's maybe it's your evaluation once a year, depending on how that goes. Okay, so if it goes well, hi Mina, then what happens for the other 11 months once that's kind of, worn off? So really thinking, what has to happen for me to be happy and or successful at work? Hi Paige. Having that whole work-life balance bit is huge. Huge. Whether you leave to go and work somewhere or whether you're working at home. For those of you who are working at home, obviously that's my scenario. And we don't have those downtimes. So, when I used to work as a vice principal in a school and I would drive home, that was my downtime. And I'll tell you, there was one time I actually worked at my kids' school. I didn't like that as far as the downtime was concerned because I was home in 2 minutes. It was like, whoa. Like I went from, okay, busy and all this to, okay, breathe. Oh, okay, now I'm back home again. Okay. So working that into, for those of you who are working at home, when do you have that transition of downtime between work and if you have kids, if you have a significant other, whatever it is that you need that downtime? How are you building that into your schedule? What does that look like? Maybe, for me sometimes it's taking my dog for a walk. So I leave from here and I go out and I go for a walk, get some fresh air. So making sure that you build some of those in. But yeah, the work-life balance, like what do you do outside of work that's fun? So many people, I find that women I talk to, they go to work, they come home, and they have all their chores at home. They're cooking, they're cleaning, they're looking after their kids, all that. And so that's why when I say to them, when was the last time you felt true joy? They're like, I don't know. I'm just existing. It's not bad. It's not horrible, but it's not joyful. And life is too short. Life is way too short. So looking at that work-life balance, what is it you're doing for yourself that's fun? And for people that's hard to initiate that, what I often suggest is signing up for something. Like whether you sign up to play pickleball or join a volleyball league or join a book club or whatever it is, actually paying for something and joining something that okay, every Wednesday night I go play pickleball. Or every, Thursday night I go to my book club. So it's something that you actually go to and you pay for, you will commit to more often. Something else I want to talk about is validation, like external validation versus internal satisfaction. At work, this can be tough because, and you know what? I'm going to compare this actually to raising teenagers, okay? And those of you who are raising teenagers, give me a thumbs up if you can relate to this. So if you are going to measure yourself as a parent or as a worker at work based on other people's opinion of you, that's that external validation that you're hearing from other people. Well, if you hear from other people that, hey, things are good, you're doing well, that, oh, I can feel good about me then. So as you can see, that's a dangerous road. So that's why I like comparing it to raising teenagers because, as a parent, how many times are you told as a parent from your teenager that, oh, Mom, you're doing a great job? I'm sure if your teens or anything like my teens, they love to point out your shortcomings. They love to, say, hey, well, what's going on here? Oh, that doesn't make sense. Or, it could be varying degrees. Same thing at work. If you're relying on other people pointing out, hey, that was a great job, what does that then mean? That you're not doing a good job if you're not getting that external validation? Hi, Jojo and Cindy Lou. So if that's what you're relying on to feel good about yourself at your job, no wonder you're not, if that's your case. Give me a thumbs up if you can relate to that, whether that's as a worker or as a parent with your kids. And finally, just finding purpose behind or beyond your job. And this was a trap that I fell into. So back when I was a vice principal and then I suffered my third concussion, and that was it for me. It was like, well, what now? Who am I? What's my purpose? Because in my brain, being a stay-at-home mom, that wasn't enough for me. And yet, so I was just like, well, who am I? What am I going to do? And my sole purpose back then in my brain was my career. And so if you're changing careers, if you're not happy in your career, then how can you be happy in the rest of your life if that's the only place you can get satisfaction? So looking at purpose beyond your job. So whether that's as a significant other in somebody's life, whether that is as a parent, whether that's as a daughter because you're looking after your parents, maybe that's as a friend, whatever it is. Maybe you're out volunteering in the community. That's a great way to feel purpose. So thinking, okay, so outside of my job, what is my purpose? And once you start to see that, then life becomes a little rosier. It has more meaning to it when you can extend that. So for those of you who are struggling in your jobs right now, as far as not feeling happy, not feeling satisfied, not feeling fulfilled, I would challenge you to really think about, okay, what has to happen for you to feel happy and for you to feel successful in your job? Do you know what that is? And then what other ways can I feel purpose? I can feel successful outside of my job, because there's got to be a balance. That work-life balance, it's huge, huge. And I know we talk about it, but we don't necessarily do a lot about it. But this is the time. This is when you need to really jump in and think, okay, it's time to take charge here. And for a lot of people, it's tough. Okay, so for that client that I talked about, you know, she couldn't see. And that's what happens, is that we get so immersed in the weeds, we can't see the big picture. And so now she gets it. She gets it. And she's so much happier. So if that's you, if you're too immersed in the weeds, and that's a lot of us at different times in our lives, reach out. Just down below, just type me. I can easily set up a one-on-one 15-minute call where we can talk about where you're at and what kind of support you might need and what that would look like. Okay? No strings attached. So if that's something you're interested in, type me below. If you're watching this on the replay, type replay below. I hope this has been helpful. It's giving you some strategies and just really thinking, what has to happen for me to feel happy and or for me to feel successful? Anyway, have a fabulous day.